Most terrifying natural disasters, tornadoes and storms caught on 4K camera 2023. Cyclone Freddy. Extremely powerful tropical cyclone Freddy was a cyclone that ravaged the southern Indian Ocean for more than 5 weeks in February and March 2023. It was particularly strong, devastating, and long-lived. Tropical Cyclone Freddy produced the most ACEs and lasted the longest ever observed globally. It is also the third deadliest tropical storm in the Southern Hemisphere, trailing only Storm Idai in 2019 and Flores cyclone in 1973. It was the second extremely violent tropical cyclone of the 2022-23 southwestern Indian Ocean cyclone season and the fourth named storm overall for the Australian region. On February 5, 2023, a disruption known as Freddy first appeared. The storm soon strengthened into a Category 4 severe tropical cyclone while still in the Australian area cyclone basin before moving into the southwest Indian Ocean basin, where it strengthened even more. At Freddy's peak wind speed, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center (JTWC) predicted 1-minute sustained winds of 270 km per hour, which corresponds to Category 5 status on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It was upgraded to a very severe tropical storm on February 19th by Meteo France, with an estimated 10-minute winds of 220 km per hour. Freddy first touched down close to Mandjuri in Madagascar. Overland, the storm quickly lost strength but quickly recovered near the Mozambique Channel. Soon after, just soon of Vilanculos, Mozambique, Freddy made a second landfall before swiftly losing strength. Unexpectedly, the system made it out of Mozambique alive and returned across the channel on March 1st. The MFR promptly reclassified Freddy as a tropical cyclone. Freddy accelerated twice during the course of 10 days before slowing to a semi-stationary movement near Quelimane, Mozambique. The storm rapidly degraded as it moved northwestward inland and was last seen on March 14th. In the Mascarene Islands, preparation for the storm included, among other things, the grounding of flights, the issuing of cyclone advisories, and the training of personnel for the aftermath. It was expected that the storm's arrival in Madagascar would worsen the situation in areas that had already been impacted by cyclones Batsarai and Chenezo. On February 20th through 21st, Freddy passed north of Mauritius and Reunion, bringing with him heavy winds and unfavorable weather. A 16-person crew on a Taiwanese-flagged boat went missing northeast of Mauritius. Many homes in South Madagascar were damaged by the cyclone. More severe effects than in Madagascar included heavy rains in the southern half of the country and extensive infrastructure damage. More than 300 millimeters of rain fell in certain areas of the nation. After a second landfall, Mozambique's effects were worsened by further flooding and wind damage. Malawi was hardest devastated when relentless rains led to devastating flash floods, with Blantyre bearing the brunt of it. The hydroelectric dam was rendered dysfunctional, crippling the country's electrical infrastructure. Overall, at least 1,434 people were killed by the cyclone, making it the first tropical cyclone to kill at least 1,000 people since Cyclone Idai in 2019. At least 1,216 people were killed by Freddy's onslaught, with 537 missing and presumed dead in Malawi, 198 in Mozambique, 17 in Madagascar, 2 in Zimbabwe, and 1 in Mauritius. Particularly concerning was the risk to millions of others' access to food. The cholera pandemic was made worse by significant floods when the storm hit Mozambique and Malawi at the same time. Cyclone survivors were seen anxiously sifting through debris with their bare hands in the hopes of discovering additional survivors. Every day, as the aftermath lingered in the impacted areas, several bodies were discovered. Tornado outbreak in the U.S. On March 31st and April 1st, an extratropical cyclone that also caused blizzard conditions in the upper Midwest caused a broad, deadly, and unprecedented tornado outbreak that impacted huge sections of the Midwestern, Southern, and Eastern United States. On March 31st, the Storm Prediction Center issued the very first high-risk warning for severe weather since March 25th, 2021, for 2 parts of the Mississippi Valley. From the evening of March 31st through the nighttime hours into the morning of April 1st, over 28 million people were under tornado watches, including numerous PDS tornado watches. This included the urban regions of Little Rock, St. Louis, Chicago, and Memphis, all of which were struck by numerous rounds of severe squall lines and supercell thunderstorms that generated tornadoes, massive hail, and devastating winds. The declaration of several mass casualty incidents for some of the hardest damaged areas was sparked by the EF3 tornadoes in Illinois, Tennessee, and Arkansas. One of these tornadoes, a powerful EF3 tornado, ripped across the northern Little Rock metro area, wreaking havoc and killing hundreds of people. The residences on the west side of Keota, Iowa, were destroyed by the fiercest tornado, a low-end EF4 storm. The northeastern United States was also hit by severe tornado-prone weather on April 1st in the late afternoon and early evening, including a rare EF3 tornado that killed 1 person in Sussex County, Delaware. With a total of 175 tornado warnings issued on March 31st and an additional 51 issued on April 1st, over 20 tornado warnings were active at times during the outbreak. In total, 145 tornadoes made landfall, including 114 on March 31st alone. with 134 tornadoes occurring between 1900 UTC on March 31st and April 1st. The outbreaks rank third globally for delivering the most tornadoes in 24 hours. Only the 1974 super outbreak, which produced 148 tornadoes in its 18-hour outbreak, and the 2011 super outbreak, which created 219 tornadoes in its busiest 24-hour period, outperformed that total, although both of those outbreaks were significantly more prolific in terms of the number of major tornadoes produced. Since the 2011 super outbreak, this outbreak also had the most tornadoes. During the outbreak, there were 27 fatalities from tornadoes and 6 other weather-related incidents, including 5 from straight-line winds and 1 indirect death during cleanup. Over 211 injuries were also sustained during the outbreak. Chinezo. Tropical Storm A, powerful tropical cyclone named Chinezo, hit Madagascar in January 2023. Chinezo, the 5th tropical cyclone and 4th tropical storm of the Southwest Indian Ocean cyclone season 2022 through 2023, formed from a zone of disturbed meteorological status that was first observed at RSMC La Réunion on January 17th. On January 18th, despite convection forming a curved band pattern, the system developed into a tropical depression. The following day, the depression intensified into severe tropical storm Chinezo. Before breaking into the Mozambique Channel, Chinezo made landfall over northern Madagascar and then weakened into an interior depression. On January 25th, Chinezo later intensified into a tropical cyclone. Before becoming a post-tropical depression on January 29th, the system kept heading southeast. 33 fatalities and 20 unaccounted for have been recorded by the National Office for Risk and Disaster Management, according to the organization. 34,100 of the 90,870 impacted individuals were displaced. Damage was done to 164 schools and over 23,600 houses. Since millions were anticipating to be affected, humanitarians and authorities also supported post-storm planning and relief activities. 2 weeks later, a considerably stronger cyclone Freddy hit the same regions. As soon as the hurricane made landfall in Madagascar, authorities and aid organizations coordinated their preparation efforts. Up to 3 million people were projected to be impacted by the storm. Additionally, the UN Humanitarian Air Service was put on alert. Accordingly, the BNGRC and humanitarian organizations activated cyclone response procedures. It was only decided to support damage assessment by activating the Copernicus Emergency Management Service, mapping. Local officials issued a warning that there was an impending risk of flooding and landslides due to heavy rain in the country's central and western regions. Chinezo and Sambava, Madagascar, brought 100 millimeters of rain. For a number of risen basins, Mateo, Madagascar, issued a red flood watch. The Madagascar government imposed a temporary halt on schools. Along Madagascar's northwest coast, strong winds blew from the north to the south. Numerous bridges were demolished. On January 19th, Chinezo made landfall in a severe tropical storm between the towns of Sambava and Antalaha. 34,100 of the 90,870 impacted people listed by the BNGRC were displaced. The attack of Chinezo claimed the lives of at least 33 persons, while 20 more are still missing. Over 23,600 homes, 18 medical facilities, and 164 schools were also damaged. It is estimated that 1,400 rice fields were flooded. Oman replied by sending 35 tons of food aid and 7 tons of medical supply to the storm victims. According to municipal authorities, individuals in need are receiving food supplies. Both the natural environment and human culture are susceptible to the disastrous effects of storms and tornadoes. High winds have the potential to seriously harm or even kill individuals due to flying debris or falling objects. Storm and tornadoes can also cause power outages, flooding, and interruptions to transportation. Repairing damaged property and resuming critical services can come at a large financial cost, and it can have long-lasting effects on the environment. It is crucial to have an emergency plan in place, including our communication plan and a disaster pack, to be ready for the effect of the storms and tornadoes. Water, food, and first aid items should all be included in this kit. It is crucial to follow any evacuation orders and other directions issued by local authorities, as well as to stay updated about the weather conditions. Individuals and groups may protect themselves and their property from danger by adopting these actions to lessen the effects of storms and tornadoes.